A very good evening. You're watching India Global. Before the break, we spoke about Iran and Israel, and we are now going to focus on Prime Minister Modi's visit. After a landmark visit, the first pan-Indian Prime Minister in 2 decades, the PM has departed from Cyprus and heading next to Canada to attend the G7 summit, a crucial meeting at a time of global uncertainty, coming as an inking a wide-ranging set of joint declaration in Nicosia, marking a significant step forward in bilateral relations with a focus on IMEC. Yet Cyprus is not just a stopover, viewers. It is a strategic move, picking the country as his first foreign visit after Operation Sindoor, signaling to Turkey, which openly supported Pakistan during the recent hostilities. I want to first play out the soundbite of Prime Minister Modi and the Cyprus president, and then we move ahead.
मेडिटरेनियन क्षेत्र के साथ कनेक्टिविटी बढ़ाने पर भी हमने बात की। हम सहमत है कि इंडिया मिडिल ईस्ट यूरोप इकोनॉमिक कॉरिडोर से क्षेत्र में शांति और समृद्धि का मार्ग प्रशस्त होगा।
हमने यूनाइटेड नेशंस की जो चार्टर है, प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ यूनिवर्सल वैल्यूज, डिपेंडेंट टेरिटोरियल इंटेग्रिटी किसी भी देश की, और प्रधानमंत्री जी की यात्रा के दौरान हमें अवसर मिला है कई ऐसे विषयों के बारे में चर्चा करने का, जिसमें कि द्विपक्ष हमारे जो देश हैं उसके बीच के संबंध के बारे में बात की, भारत और ईयू के संबंध के बारे में बात की। इसके अलावा हमने एक क्षेत्रीय जो स्थिति थी और आईमेक के अंदर हमारी जो सहयोग है, इंडिया मिडिल ईस्ट यूरोपियन कॉरिडोर, इसके बीच में हमारे सहयोग के बारे में भी बात की है।
All right, viewers, let's now get in a voice from Cyprus, from Nicosia, to understand how significant this visit has been. Sunil Kapoor, who's a partner and COO of OL Shipping Group, joins us live from Nicosia to understand and decode the importance and significance of this visit. Mr. Kapoor, we've played out some of the important sound bites, the messaging, the import of this meeting. Explain to us, talk to us about, in your opinion, what was the biggest takeaway of this meeting?
Actually, it was a very important meeting, and I think Mr. Modi has done and gained quite a lot of things during his one-day visit here. And as I said, he had mentioned this in the meeting, that it is not just about the ease of doing business. It is about the trust of doing business, and he has stressed on this, that he would like to have now long-term partners with whom they can trust and they can do business, which would not only be gainful for one country, but to be useful for both the countries. So I feel this visit is not just a symbolic, it is a turning point for deeper and strategic future cooperation. So there have been many things which was discussed. Of course, I was part of this roundtable conference where we discussed about the business, how we can increase our cooperation, which was there. They had always better understanding about the Indians. In fact, the president of Cyprus did mention that at one time, Indians and Cypriot soldiers, they took part in World War II. So the relationship goes for many years, including the times of Makarios. So, but now they have put a seal to see that the things move fast forward. So both in terms of business, in terms of trust, and I feel that there are some of the good important takeaways, that there has been a major upgrade in the bilateral relations. Then he has received the top honor, conferred Cyprus' highest award, the Grand Cross of the Order of Makarios II. I think this is a very important strategic.
It is. It's also the messaging there, sir. And I want to understand from you here the geostrategic messaging, and at the same time, the larger economic partnership from the point of view of linkages, Mediterranean Sea linkages, deeper linkages with regard to trade partnerships. How do you see, and also renewable energy, another very important area for India, given how we want to protect our energy interests. How do you see all of them from here on?
So the maritime will play a very important role. And this has been discussed in our roundtable conference. We were about 4 or 5 people from the shipping background. Cyprus is a major hub for ship management and ship owning. Prime Minister Modi emphasized that we are going to spend a lot of money on the development of ports, the shipbuilding and ship repairs. So this is a benefit for both. Then he also mentioned regarding the India-Middle East corridor IMEC plan, this is a future. And I'm sure once the things will start improving this side of the world, there will be a lot of business both for the movement of trade and cargo from India and maybe via Cyprus. Both believe in prosperity, both believe in peace, both the countries believe. So there are many shared outlooks. So somehow Cyprus has the mode of operation and doing business completely different from what India. But now I see things have dramatically changed, and this will actually bring both the countries together.
All right, Mr. Kapoor, we leave it there. Sunil Kapoor joining us live from Nicosia to decode the importance and significance of this visit by the Prime Minister to Cyprus. All right, viewers, now shifting focus, turning attention now. Well, Prime Minister Modi is now en route to Canada's Alberta for the G7 summit. Not as a member, of course, but as the most watched guest. Now, why is this invite shaking up the world stage? Well, relations between India and Canada have been in the deep freeze. Spy accusations, expelled diplomats, unchecked Khalistani extremism across Canada have divided the two countries. But now, new Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney says India is simply too big to ignore. All right, before we move ahead, and also we get in our guest. Viewers, at the end of the day, it's important to point out that India is now the world's 4th largest economy, the biggest growth engine, and also set to play a major role in terms of what are some of the key important aspects that the world leadership needs to take an account of. Fast becoming the world's supply chain lifeline. G7 will have to tackle climate, it will have to tackle AI, it will have to tackle global security. The West has realized that such important talks cannot be done till the time India is in it. From tensions to talks, is this a breakthrough or is it Ottawa's diplomacy under pressure? Well, either way, at the end of the day, all eyes will be on Prime Minister Modi and India. Let me now quickly turn attention to the big questions that we are putting on the show. First up, is this going to be, let's put the first question out. The first question is this a clear message to anti-India elements? Secondly, is this going to be a major reboot in terms of India-Canada ties? Prime Minister Modi and Mark Carney meeting, is that going to happen, a pull aside? And if so, what's the kind of message that will send and reboot the entire relationship in its larger entirety? Let's get in Ambassador Satish Mehta, who is India's former Consul General, and we also have Kushal Mehra, an author, podcaster, a very popular personality in Canada. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me. And Ambassador Mehta, let me start with you. The significance of this visit, this meeting, at a time when, as I said, put the context in place, the India-Canada relationship recovering from its lows.
Prime Minister Gandhi does not carry the baggage of former Prime Minister Trudeau, who was very deeply linked with the Khalistanis and partly because of his dependence upon NDP party for the survival of his government. Now, Prime Minister Carney does not have both these baggages with him, and I think I think it is a reboot of the relationship. Prime Minister Carney called Prime Minister Modi, inviting him, albeit a little late, but then the government has just come, and also before that, the Foreign Minister of Canada, Anita Anand, spoke to Foreign Minister Jaishankar. So I think the stage had been set for rebooting the relationship, and I think it's a very healthy development.
on some of these aspects that Ambassador Mehta was pointing out. But most importantly, in terms of the Khalistani extremists that have played a very major role in puncturing the relationship in the last 18 months or so, how do you see them getting the strongest message ever with this meeting that is set to take place?
Well, Carney has actually followed what a former Canadian Prime Minister had done. That was Prime Minister Harper. The irony is that Prime Minister Harper was a conservative and Carney is a liberal, but both of them are following a very similar pattern. So what is that pattern? The pattern, as far as Prime Minister Harper was, he had a simple rule: I'm not going to entertain any extremist element, irrespective of their caste, creed, religion, or ethnicity. And as far as Carney is concerned, I would not say that he's following the same pattern, but in terms of at least extremists of a kind, he's not playing footsie with them. These are good signs, but I would like to add a major caveat here. We have to be very cautiously optimistic with Canada because the deep roots of the Khalistani elements inside Canadian polity are something that should not be washed away. I mean, I'm in Calgary right now, and I'm going to be there at the G7 summit. But the point is that these elements need to be tackled with in a very deft manner. And I think as so far so good, but I would say cautious optimism is the right word here. We should be optimistic, but we have to be very cautious because you never know when things go south here in Canada.
Interesting meeting that is taking place. This is also a meeting that is taking place after some of those incessant claims made by Donald Trump, all of which completely rejected by India. In the backdrop of that, it'll be very interesting to see what will be the kind of body language that will be there between these two leaders. But Ambassador Mehta, in terms of your expectation, while there's very little time that the PM will be in Canada, but most of the times it is about the messaging, the strategic direction in which the relationship is set to go. In your assessment, do you see the recovery of people-to-people ties being the first major impact after this visit, or some of the other aspects that you would like to highlight?
Well, I think it would. So let's look at the key pillars of the relationship. Bilateral trade has been going uninterrupted between 23 and 24. It has increased by almost 20% if you include bilateral trade in goods and services. And Canada has a bit of trade surplus with India if you include both these. And it's about 32 billion Canadian dollars. Not something to scoff at. So that's one thing which has been working regardless of the political relationship. And I'm sure it's not lost on Mr. Karni. The second thing is, I think one has to be very clear about this Khalistani movement. First of all, it's not a very large majority of people who believe in this, number one. Though they are very vocal and perhaps are able to drive others. Number two, what does it mean? I see people sitting in Canada with Canadian passports trying to break India. Which country would accept that? Would Canada accept that if we sat in India and started supporting the PeopleToPeople movement? This is just not done. And I think Canada has to stand up to it, and the political leadership has to stand up to it. And the fact that Mr. Stephen Harper won 3 elections without the support of such elements shows that they don't carry much credibility or credence in the Canadian society. It was just the compulsions of Mr. personally,
yes,
his inclination, and secondly, his political compulsion of leading Jagmeet Singh's party for survival was the reason. Now both those are out of the equation.
Yes.
Mr. Good is out of the equation, and Jagmeet is also out of the equation.
He's lost the election. He's irrelevant now.
Yes. He lost the election, and he's no longer the party.
Exactly.
So I think I would be a little more optimistic than my other friend on the panel.
Right.
About the direction of the relationship. There's a lot of goodwill.
Okay. Kushal Mehra, in your assessment, while you're erring on the side of caution, for want of a better phrase, what, according to you, could be the one milestone that this visit may achieve in terms of providing the much-needed thaw, or do you think any specific areas where you expect the recovery to be sharper in terms of the India-Canada relationship?
Well, people forget that one of the most important aspects is that Canada is a resource-rich country. Critical minerals are something India is going to need a lot more of in the coming decades. Canada is one of the largest suppliers of critical minerals in the world. If I am correct in my research, I think India only is able to source critical minerals through the Dubai route. Now, if we are able to change that and have a direct relationship with Canada over there, and you know, both countries benefit. Canadians make more money because the wire media is cut and they can maybe clock a better profit. And the Indians can have a better relationship with Canada. I think India and Canada trade is way low than what it's supposed to be. It should be way more. And let's not beat around the bush. The Khalistani element is the reason that both countries are not able to even trade more. Yes, whatever trade exists has been happening, but it could have been a lot more. As far as the people to people ties are concerned, I don't understand why do even we need to bother about the people to people ties. They never stop. Canada has almost 7% of the Canadian population is of people of Indian origin. But once again, I see this has been the line that everybody inside the Indian intelligentsia keeps taking. Oh, the Khalistanis represent very little of the society. But what they don't understand is how the Canadian system works. Khalistanis have rigged the Canadian primary. The Canadian primary is not monitored by Elections Canada. You could name yourself Ding Dong and register for the Canadian Liberal Party primary. Who proved it? I did. I did it myself. I registered myself as Ding Dong. And I ended up being qualified to vote for a Canadian primary, which is where the Khalistanis gamed the system. So even though they are a very small representative sample, they are able to punch way above their weight because they are finding lacunas in the Canadian system to say that we should not have this caution. They will still rig the primaries. Look, for example, look at what the candidates in the CPC were. Forget the Liberals, the Conservatives, the party of Prime Minister Harper,
Yes.
which was then Prime Minister Harper goes, Pierre comes. Who are these people? My simple question to the Conservative members of Parliament of Indian origin is, do they condemn Khalistan at a conceptual level? Will one person stand up, irrespective of them being a Hindu or a Sikh? Irrespective of them being a Hindu or a Sikh. So let's not play this down. We have to be cautious. We have to be firm with the Canadians when we sit across the table and say we will not tolerate this. You want to trade with us? We're more than happy.
Okay, that's an important view, a counter view really, that India should speak and must speak and continues to speak from a position of strength, and that should never change. I'm going to leave it there, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me on this edition of India Global, a story that we are going to keep coming back to. I'm going to, on that note, take a quick break, come back on the other side with more stories. Stay with us. Viewers, amidst the escalating tensions between Israel and Iran, Iran students in Tehran are being evacuated to the city of Qom, which is 148 kilometers away. Thousands of Indians are stranded in various Iranian cities as Israel and Iran continue to trade missiles, with neither side showing any signs of backing down. This includes more than 1,500 Indian students, most of whom are from Jammu Kashmir. 9 students from Karnataka are studying medicine at the Shahid Beheshti Medical University near Tehran, the capital of Iran. And they are now extremely worried due to the said tense situation. One of these students, Nadeem Hussain, and his parents in Bengaluru contacted the North Resident Indian Committee Bengaluru office over the phone and expressed their pain and desire to return to their country immediately. Now, how many students are there? Let's quickly now bring you up to speed, viewers, with the kind of impact that is there in terms of the number of students. Let's put that out for our viewers to see just how many students we are talking who are actually caught in the crossfire. Let's put that out. There are about 1,500 Indian students who are stuck there in Iran, which has a very large number of medical students. Most of them, let's keep going ahead, most of them are actually medical students, and most of them come from the state of Jammu and Kashmir. And the Indian Embassy is in constant touch with most of these students. That's an important factor, because at the end of the day, communication is the single most important factor, given the uncertainty and anguish that these students are feeling. They are going to be evacuated by land. Let's keep moving ahead. Via land. And Iran has told India that given the fact that airspace is shut, it is the land borders that remain open and could be used for any evacuation whatsoever. Now, what is going to be the route, the possible route for all those who want an evacuation? Let's put that out. That evacuation route could actually be Tehran to Qom to Gilan, and then it could be to the Armenian border, where those students who want an evacuation can actually take that route. Those who just want to be moved to a safer place needn't go all the way till the Armenian border, but this is likely to be the broad route that they will take. Now, on that note, let's quickly now put out some of those important sound bites, and let's hear out some of the students who've been reaching out to the Indian authorities asking for help in these distressing times.
Third-year medical student from Tehran. Right now, we are getting relocated to Tehran outskirts, just because the strikes are continuously going on. The strikes from Israel, and you see the smokes around, the flames around. It's all chaos here. The roads are closed. We have been stuck right now, completely stuck. We don't know what to do. The atmosphere is so tense right now.
At this point, हमारे जो भाई हैं तेहरान यूनिवर्सिटी के जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं, उनकी बॉयज डॉम के नज़दीक ही हमला हुआ है, एंड दे हैव आल्सो बीन अफेक्टेड बाय द अटैक, और कुछ जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं वो जख्मी भी हो गए हैं. सो वो हालत हमारी भी ना हो जाए, उससे पहले प्लीज हमें इवैक्यूएट कर दिया जाए, क्योंकि इस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे ना हमें वाटर सप्लाई है डॉम की, ना नेट, इंटरनेट इज वेरी वीक, इंटरनेट बिल्कुल भी नहीं चल रहा है, ना मैसेज जा रही है, ना आ रही है, ना प्रॉपर्ली कम्युनिकेट कर पा रहे हैं हम किसी से भी. और ऑन टॉप ऑफ दैट अभी शायद इलेक्ट्रिसिटी भी चली जाएगी, और उसके बाद हमारा वाईफाई भी डाउन हो जाएगा, जिसपे हम अभी थोड़ा बहुत इंटरनेट चला रहे हैं, और उसके बाद हम शायद बिल्कुल भी कम्युनिकेट ना कर पाए. तो प्लीज आई रिक्वेस्ट LG मनोज सिन्हा, NCM उमर अब्दुल्ला, कि हमें जल्द से जल्द इवैक्यूएट कर दिया जाए.
All right, viewers, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of India Global. Thanks so much for watching.